Welcome. This video will cover the latest release of OmniVista, the Alcatel-Lucent enterprise management system for all our networking products. OmniVista Next Generation, starting with OmniVista Release 10 or OV10, is a complete redesign of the existing OmniVista, with OV10.1 being the first step of this journey to unlimited cloud management and real-time analytics. The main topics we'll be covering during this session are: why OmniVista Next Generation? Why did we completely change our management framework in Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise? We will address this question. The second point is interoperability between OV10.1 and existing deployments of OV4, either OV Enterprise or OV Cyrus. We have a large installed base of customers running OVE or OVC, and now they can extend the functionality with the Q&A, the Quality of Experience module of OV10.1. Last, a short demo of OV10.1 Quality of Experience features show the new look and feel and some of the guidelines that coming releases will follow. Let's jump into the details.
Why OV10? That was the first question. Well, in 2021, we measure everything. We measure our heart rate, we measure the steps we take every day, and so on. And the same trend can be seen in most of our network customers. They want to monitor what the network is doing, what is the network behavior, and even what are the clients doing. So we decided to dramatically improve our analytics capabilities in OV10. OV4 started to support some analytics, but with OV10, we are definitely going to real-time and long-term analytics. A second important point is the IT footprint. Current OV4 is a monolithic system with almost the same size for any customer. With OV10 or OV Next Generation, we are rebuilding the whole system with a microservices architecture. This architecture can now be deployed in the public cloud, as we are doing currently with OV10, with OV Cyrus, or we can deploy it in your private cloud. Microservices architecture allows us to scale very well from the very low-end market, from SMB or very small customers like 3 APs and 1 switch, to web scale or service provider scenarios. Another interesting point is our open and extendable architecture. Currently, OV4 is already based on a complete RESTful interface. But with OV10, we are taking this with a quantum leap, and now we are based everything in a RESTful interface, meaning that your web browser, when you are interacting with OV10, is really consuming the underlying API. And the same API, exactly the same API, can be used to integrate OV into your business processes. Scalability, as mentioned, is key. From very low end to service providers, we have to be able to address their needs. For instance, it is a common topic that governments or service providers may have thousands or maybe millions of devices between APs and switches. With our architecture, which is naturally multi-tenant, a service provider may consider to support thousands of customers, and each customer with any size. Some customers may be very low in size with 2 APs only, and some of the customers may be a government institution with thousands of APs or hundreds of thousands of APs. It doesn't matter. Thanks to the microservices architecture, we will be able to scale from very low end to XL. Security is a key topic. We consider that security must be from the early stages of the design, and that's what we did in OV. We are not only compliant with the overall laws around the world, GDPR or any other country-based laws, but we are increasing the level of security, adopting new protocols for authentication and encrypting our communications with external providers. Last, DevOps culture is now in. So we are ready to increase the system and to expand the system when we detect new features. For instance, we are just now considering wireless real-time location services for release 10.2 or 10.3. As mentioned, OV10 is a journey, and the first step is OV10.1. OV10.1 today could be considered as a quality of experience add-on for existing OmniVista Enterprise or OmniVista Cyrus. Later, with OV10.2, by the end of Q4 2021, will be now a full management platform. But today, 10.1 is only a Q&A add-on. So that means that for testing and enjoying with 10.1, you will need an OVE or OVC deployment already there. All our IPs support quality of experience, so they can be integrated easily into 10.1 or OV10 and future releases. The only exceptions are the low-entry APs, which are listed here. The Alcatel wireless operating system must be release 4.03 for supporting quality experience and integration with release OmniVista 10.1. And the management platform, OVE or OVC, must be running 4.6 release 1 or 4.6.1 for OVC. Obviously, Stellar APs must have internet access in order to reach the OV10.1, which is located in the Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise public cloud. How to integrate and release 10.1 with existing OVC or OVE installations? Very simple, just follow the example here. As you can see, APs already have a management connection with the OV Enterprise or OV Cyrus. That management connection will remain the same, exactly the same in release 10.1. The only adding that we are incorporating into this diagram is the quality of experience information that is exchanged between the AP and the OmniVista 10.1, which is located in the public cloud. From release 10.2 onwards, we will be able to manage all the APs and do exactly the same things that we do on OVE or OVZ with OV10.2. That will be the migration path. Following, there are some screenshots about how to configure OV10.1 in the OV Enterprise or OV Cyrus that you may already have. It's very easy, and I will not go into the details now because we will see it later on the demo. So this is basically, we have to create a new advanced analytics server where we are going to define which is the URL where we have to send all the Q&A information. Then we can customize the intervals when we are going to upload the information. Remember that it is only affecting the interval because the metrics will still be recorded by the AP. Then the only thing we have to do is to add to the existing AP group, AP groups library or AP groups classrooms, wherever it is, this new feature of advanced analytics server. And that's all we have to do. OVC or OVE will send this configuration to the AP group, and from that point, the APs will start sending the information to the OmniVista release 10.1, which is in the public cloud. This is one additional step. Once we have defined in your premises what you have to do, you have to go to OmniVista release 10.1 and provision your APs. If you have 2 or 3 APs, it's a matter of doing it manually, is easy stuff. But if you have 10, 20, or maybe 100 APs, it could be very uncomfortable. So the best way is to export your current configurations in the OVC or OVE that you already have, and go to Manage Devices and Export Devices. That will generate a CSV file. This same SB file, without any modification, can be uploaded to the OV10, and that's all. Your APs will be automatically populated into the database. And the best thing, it is alive. So you can go connect to this URL, www.ovcyrus.com, and you can register for free and start to taste OmniVista 10.1. And now let's go to the demo. The first is to configure your existing environment, OV Enterprise or OV Cyrus, in order to configure the APs to send information to OV 10.1. In this case, I will be using an OmniVista Enterprise. Let's sync into the OmniVista. Okay, and in network, AP registration is where we have everything related with the access points. We have the access points, AP groups, and so on. Here in IoT location or advanced analytics server, which is the things we're going to configure, the other thing we have to configure is a new OmniVista next generation or OV10, you may call it as you want, advanced analytics. Here you can add the server IP or host, the URL. It will be provided by the enrollment system when you sync in for a new OV 10.1 instance, and the server port. In this case, we are working with a preview in a demo environment, and it is a specific configuration. Then you only have to do is, if you want, you can change these settings, the upload interval, and the only thing you have to do now is to apply this information to a group. You can do it here, or most easily, you can go to the AP group, select the AP group you want. For instance, in this case, I don't know, maybe production network, and go to edit and add this profile to the appropriate configuration, which is here. IoT location advanced analytics server. Here in this advanced analytics server profile, we will only have to populate this with the recently created profile, enable it, and that's all. Just save it, next it will be saved to the IP group, and all the IPs in this IP group will inherit this configuration. That is what we have to do. I have already done it. I'm going to cancel. And the last thing is to provision the OV 10.1 with the APs that are in my installation. In order to do it easily, we can go to the network and discovery. Here we can see all my elements in my network, and the only thing I have to go is to export devices. That will generate a CSV file, as I told you, and then you can save it to your hard disk and later upload it to OmniVista. That's the whole things we have to do here. Let's move now to OmniVista release 10.1. This is the OmniVista release 10.1. This is my first page when I just log into it. What I see here is that I am a management service provider, or MSP. That means that I am, I would say, a super user, because I can configure as many tenants as needed. If I were a service provider, for instance, I can create here thousands of companies that are the ones I'm going to manage. Each of these companies may have different sites inside. So, for instance, I have two tenants. One is the Ali premises lab, and this is my home lab, let's say. And let's go and jump into this. The organizations in this panel, we have the users, so we can manage to have different users in this super user space, in this multi-tenant space. I can have users that can only access to one of the tenants, or I can have super users that can only read only information. So the different profiles I can create are unlimited. And then some information about basically naming the MSP. In this case is Jorge's MSP. Of course, there are some settings related to the user which are here in my profile. In my profile, I can find which applications, in order to connect other applications with the API, the key we are going to use, this kind of things. If you are familiar with connecting applications with API, this is the kind of things you are going to configure here. Support center, you can direct access to the support center, video tutorials in case you need some information that is not present here, and your my profile. My profile is the kind of things that are related with the look and feel, my password, if I want to reset the password, or if I want to enable do two-factor authentication. In this case, I will leave it as is. So now let's jump into this organization. And this is the dashboard. This is the home dashboard for this organization. And here I can see this is, this tenant, in this case, the Ali Lab premises, is only a one-site tenant. And I have 3 users already registered, some colleagues in Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. And I have only 5 devices, the IPs we have for testing environment and doing things with them. I can go to the site list. I have only 1 of them. And I can geolocate this premises. So I can now go into the Ali Madrid premises. And I can see that the building has been georeferenced. Here is an advance that we are really working on having wireless real-time location services in the very short term. And the first thing you have to do is to locate and georeference your space. In this case, this is our premises in this building. This is where the lab is equipped. So let's go back to the dashboard, and I have some useful information on my site, which is the subscription status. I have still some time till February 2022. The last logs I've seen with some colleagues accessing the tool and doing some modification wherever they have done. So this is more or less the dashboard. Then we can see the things or different items, configuration aspects related with the organization. In this case, it's the site management. Here, I can create more sites. For instance, let's suppose that this specific tenant is a country-wide organization that has some presence in different cities. I can define the different cities here, and I can manage all of them from here. Walls is more related with wireless real-time location services. This is our lab, and in our lab, I have draw all the lines, which is concrete, which one is wood, which one is glass, where are the elevators, and these kind of things. Why are we doing this? Because later, when we activate the wireless line real-time location services, this map will help me to track the points, either the clients or the assets I want to monitor and to track. But this is, as I told you, in the walls. So the first is sites, then walls. Then we have the users space, where I can define users for this specific tenant. The other one, the other users I show you are for the super tenant or super admin users. In this case, I can create new accounts for this specific tenant. Let's suppose that this company has some IT manager that wants to have access to the status of the network or whatever. So I can define here as many profiles as needed and as many users as needed. Then I can monitor the login attempts in case there is some problem with the password, or maybe I'm under attack because I'm receiving hundreds of thousands of attempts per second in order to answer here. We will report it, and the DevOps team that is behind this will tell you, okay, guys, we have to do something because we are detecting this kind of problems. This is related with users. Then we have the subscription management, that obviously is where you are going to see your subscription status. And from this page, you can request an update that will reach our sales team and our procurement team, and will allow you to directly here, without any other complex task, to extend your subscription. Last, we have the audit logs, where, well, in this case, we don't have audits because it's a lab environment, and we usually wipe it out and start from scratch. So in this case, there is no audit log. But here, you may see all the things that are related with this tenant. That is I would say, the organization. We have covered the dashboard, and now let's go to configure. In the configure space is where we are going to manage the APs that are going part of our system. In this case, we have network-wide, and the first stage is to create the inventory. And here we are going to catalog the devices. So the first thing we have to do is to visit this page. And here is where we will define the elements that are going to be managed by this OmniVista, in this tenant. In this case, this tenant is only one site, as I mentioned, and this site has 5 APs. Stellar 1, Stellar 2, Stellar 3, Stellar 4, Stellar 5. I can upload directly the OmniVista CSV file that I have generated previously. You don't have to worry about anything. Just upload it, and all the information will be correlated. So it's the simple way to do it. But obviously, you can do it manually. You can create a new device. It's a very easy task. Just enter the name, the MAC address, and the type of AP, or if later on when we have the management platform will be an OmniSwitch, whatever, and define this kind of information, and the device will be populated in the database. In this case, as we did it using the OmniVista export function, they have been imported from the CSV file. These are the APs, and these APs can be later on modified as you may need. So here we have the serial number, the AP address, which version we have, and these kind of things. Even more, we can locate the AP in the map. So we can go to the sites here in this place, site management, and in the sites, I can allocate each AP in his place. So the alarms will be not only correlated with the time, but will be correlated as well with the space. Okay, so that's an improvement here as well. This is for device catalog, and we have device location that I mentioned, where we can position the different APs in our map. I have only configured one of them, which is the Stellar one for testing environment. Maybe my colleagues remove the other ones because they are doing something. And this is the kind of things we're going to do with the real-time location services. Okay, this is for network-wide, inventory, and so on. Remember that for release 10.1, we are only talking about quality of experience for wireless LAN devices. We are going to monitor our Wi-Fi network. And this is the monitor space. In the monitor space, we're going to monitor two aspects of our systems. The first is the network. We are going to monitor the status of the network. And the other space, which is the wireless, we are going to monitor what are clients doing, what are the URLs they are visiting, what are the traffic that they are placing in the network, where have been they connected, these kind of things. So we have two possibilities now. We are going to explore first the network-wide, and in the network-wide we have the analytics. Analytics will cover the quality of experience module, which is the basic information that we have in order to monitor what is happening in the network, and if we have to take some actions in order to improve the quality of the experience of our users. Then we will see network analytics, which are the current clients that are connected, or which clients were connected at some time, which is the client session history. And then the client analytics. What are our clients? What kind of clients do we have? Which authentication method is used by our clients? Which channels? All these things is related with how the network behaves. So that's all in network-wide. And in wireless, we will have analytics again, and these analytics are related with the client behavior. So we are going to monitor what are our clients doing in the network. Let's jump now into the network-wide analytics, and let's visit the QA module. So here we have the first dashboard of the Q&A analytics, and we have successful attempts, which time to connect takes the user from the time they intend to associate when they really start passing traffic. So it's an average of 0.48 seconds. How much time does it take to the clients to move from one IP to the next one? In this case, it's 0.11 seconds. Which is the coverage? As our IPs have a radio that is monitoring and scanning a dedicated radio that is scanning the environment, the radio frequency environment, we can use them for coverage purposes. So we know we are talking that we have a minus 56 coverage, which is absolutely great. Is a voice over wireless LAN deployment, so it's great coverage, and that we have 80% of the network available for new customers, for new stations to connect. With a little bit more details, we can see here the evolution of the successful connections during time. If you see spaces here, it's because, as I told you, this is a lab, and sometimes there is no testing then, and then we have these gaps. In reality, that will be a smooth curve. And we have the time to connect, which time sometimes it takes longer, as you may see here, and then if we see that someday we are working between 0.2, 0.4, 0.5 here, and one day we raise here to 1.8, 1.2, 2.0, something like this, then we have to look here and see what is happening. Maybe is the association which is failing, is the authorization, is the DHCP, is the portal authorization, is the authentication, which is another entity we are adding here. So that will give you some clues of what is really going wrong here. Maybe it's the DHCP that is not responding. Maybe it's the radio server which is down. So that's the kind of things we will help us to troubleshoot what is happening in the network. Roaming time, again, depending on your deployments, it may be an office deployment where there is not too much roaming because people tend to be in the same space or working. But if you are in a logistic warehouse, for instance, roaming is a key attribute to monitor. Because people are moving around with the scan pistols, and if there is a poor roaming quality, they may complain that the system is not working properly. So again, we can see here different attributes to monitor. Coverage, as you may see here, it will deeply depend on the other APs, interferences, which is your radio frequency environment, and so on. So here we can see some aspects to monitor on the coverage, and the available capability is related with how the channels and the APs are loaded. If the network is very low loaded because we have only 10 clients maybe and we have 5 IPs, like this case, there is almost 90% of the network available for new users. So this is related with quality of experience. We can go into network analytics, which is the other aspect we can monitor. And here we can see which is the behavior of the network. In this case, we can see we have 5 IPs, and we have a decent use of the channels in the 2.4 gigabit hertz band. We have channel 1, channel 6, and channel 11. Perfect. And as we have 5 IPs, there is no better way of doing things. Two in one channel, 2 in one channel, and 1 in one channel. So it's perfect. And in 5 gigahertz, in the 5 gigahertz band, as we have these APs are dual 5 gigahertz bands. That means that they have 2 radios in 5 gigahertz and 1 radio in 2.4. We have many channels in use in the 5 gigahertz band. And here you can see the different channels, how they are split between them. The channel utilization, as always, 2.4 is more crowded. We have a neighborhood surrounding our premises. We have other companies in the same building, so all of them will have for sure their own wireless network, and you know that 2.4 is a little bit more congested. So that's the reason we see here that the channel utilization is 21%, while in 5 gigahertz is almost 3%, which means that is completely available. There is no alarms in terms of there is no AP with CPU problems, or there is no memory problems, or there is no flash storage problems in our APs. All of them are working below the limit we mark, which is the 50%. And okay, they are all working perfectly. And the uptime is 98.78%. So this is the kind of things we can see in the network analytics part. Let's go to the current client. Here, probably there is no one there now, so probably here will be empty, I'm afraid. Yes, it is. As I told you, this is a lab, and there is no one testing now. But we can see how the trend has been in the last hours. So we have up to 9 people between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. 2 p.m. and then there is less people at 3, and that's the evolution of the clients along the day. In this case, from 1 to October. Okay, in the client session history, we can see that this day there was some devices connecting, and the client association distribution, which one use a preset key, which one use a portal, which one use MAC authentication, and which one were open. And we can do it with the device operating system, for instance, unknown, Android, Windows, or wherever. And I don't know, maybe the channel that were used in this case, or maybe the VLAN. In this case, 663 are 68 devices or connections, and in the unknown it was 2021. Again, we can see here the trend. This is the distribution, and this is the trend, the evolution with the time, and by, I don't know, my device type, for instance, we see computer, mobiles, and unknown. In this case, maybe we will not be able to gather enough information to fingerprint the device. And then we have the client analytics. And in client analytics, it will help us to do some capacity planning. In this case, we see that most of the customers, the 7 customers were using the 5 GHz channel, and 6 customers were using the 2.4 GHz band, which was the distribution of clients between the different APs. That will help us to know if we are avoiding the sticky client problem, for instance, or if we have a more crowded space, maybe we have to move APs from less user space to the more user space, and this kind of thing. So, I mean, this information is relevant, especially for capacity planning, regarding the connection mode, by device type, device OS, associated SSID, and by throughput consumption in the network. So this is related with network-wide. I mean, this is how the network is behaving. Now, let's look at what are our customers doing in the network. So let's go to analytics and the client behavior analytics. Okay, this is the client behavior analytics. Here we will be able to monitor the different aspects of what are our clients really doing in the network. In this case, we can see the top domain names and URLs that our customers are connecting to. In this case, but as this is in our office environment, we may see Microsoft Outlook as the main tool that we use, and we can see here Zscaler, because Zscaler is the security platform we use for securing our environments. And we can see here as well Rainbow, which is our communications as a service tool in Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise, as you all know. The most used URLs, well, obviously Zscaler should be here because it's continuously tracking the URLs we're using, for how long, which is the average session duration for this for the clients. 55 stay in the network around 10 minutes or less, and this is the different split, and the connected duration for some of them, if we want to monitor and go into the details. So this is as a summary what we can see right now in OmniVista 10.1. Remember, this is a free module today to add to your existing configurations, and is going to provide you a lot of more information that you have now with OV. This is a module which is evolving as we speak, and will incorporate much more analytics and the capacity to drill down to the root cause and this kind of interesting things.
We're almost done. Let me finish with some highlights for taking away. OV10 is a complete redesign of OmniVista that brings some key values. First, the ability to go from a small or even tiny businesses to service provider or web scale scenarios. Second, real-time and long-term analytics powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques to improve quality of experience and help with the troubleshooting activities. OV10, the third point, is a complete management solution for public or private cloud deployments that will improve operation and maintenance tasks. A key message for our current customers: we are defining extremely attractive migration plans for OV10 adoption. Thanks for your attention. We were delighted with your presence, and stay tuned to this OV10 journey.